Well, going into it, it's good to know that, good to know my background in that I had 3 other siblings that also served in Brazil. I had another sibling that served in Chile, in South America, and also my dad served in Argentina. And so I was already all geared for going foreign, learning a language. The fact that I went to the Provo MTC was hard, but I still kept thinking, I'm going to Brazil. That's my mission. That's where I was called. They received revelation. Revelation's true, so I'm going there. And then it was like 3 days before departure from the MTC, and so it was a Saturday. We all received our reassignments, and so some of our group went to Rochester, New York. Some went to Long Beach, California, or no, Riverside, and some went to Portland, and then some went to Spokane, Washington. And the only thing I was hoping was like, let's go to the East Coast. I'm from Oregon. I'm from the Pacific Northwest. I've played in piano competitions in Spokane. I've had basketball tournaments there. Why in the world would I go to Spokane, a place where I know and I actually have a brother living there? And so I was pretty upset about it. Everyone else was excited about their calls, and I was having a hard time. It's like 3 hours away from my house. And so I got there, and you know, I still had that desire to be obedient and live the mission, but I had also the mentality that only the people who, you know, didn't feel themselves capable of learning a language, they got assigned to the U.S., or they just had, you know, like interpersonal problems, and so they wouldn't be able to adapt to another culture and relate to those people. So I had like, I looked at them like scum, and I looked for examples of these missionaries when I got there too. So the group I ride with was huge. There was 38 missionaries. And I was like, look, this is the U.S. missionary. I can't stay with these guys. It was hard. And then my trainer, he was a really good guy. He had a great heart. But also I evaluated his physical appearance, just everything about him. I was looking for negative. And so he was finishing his mission, and I was like, oh great, this guy must be an expert. I'm going to be blessed with, you know, the best trainer in the world. And so I had that mentality too. And so every time I saw something that he did wrong, I picked at that. And not only was the first transfer with the companion 2 transfers away from going home, but my second transfer, I got transferred. And that step trainer, as they call it, he as well was in that same position. He only had the transfer with me and then 1 more until he went home. And so I saw that same process of trying to evaluate perfection and seeing, you know, what the finished product of a mission is. And I saw this and I was like, I don't want that. If this is what this mission does to the missionary, I'm like, no way, not for me. So I was still very rebellious. I remember writing once in my journal, because I wrote every day, near the end of that transfer, you always, as a visa waiter, you know, the people going to foreign countries, you have the mentality that, you know, any day your mission president could call and say, hey, your visa's here. At such date you're going to be leaving. Get yourself ready. So every day I was thinking about that. And I remember one day I was like, if I don't get my visa by the end of this transfer, I'm definitely going to be translated, because I cannot stay with this companion where he's going to just get all my weaknesses out of me. I'm trying my hardest, but I was like, get me out of here. And so that was transfer 2. I still had 4 left in the US. But when I got into my 3rd transfer, I finally met a missionary that he was also a visa waiter, and we both saw that we desired to be missionaries, and that it didn't really matter where we were, as long as we had the desire to help others. And so he helped me a lot, and we were just humble enough to be able to be used. And that was when my mission started changing. And the next 3 transfers went by, and I learned a lot too. And when it finally came time to leave for Brazil, I didn't really want to leave. I was definitely mixed about it. I was excited for a new adventure. I'm nervous because I'd be starting over again, you know, being clueless again, having to learn. And I knew that humility was a hard thing, and I'd have to, you know, learn from other people, and I like being independent. And so that was another prospect. But definitely the U.S. mission taught me to learn the gospel in my language, and it taught me to trust that what I was doing was enough, and that the results were the expected results, because that was definitely difficult. In that, you know, the U.S. missions, you'll run into some hard people, and you're going to just have to trust that what you're doing is going to cause the change necessary for either something to happen at that moment or for someone else to come along and finish what the Lord started.